So what you will need is a small book. I bought this for $2 and a pen. Both of these tools together can make a lot happen. In my last video on how to unfuck your nervous system, a few people approached me and asked me, how do I release trauma from the nervous system? Or how do I even get things up that might be stuck inside of the nervous system? So this video is dedicated to probably one of the most powerful and cheapest tools that you can get yourself when you're broke and when you want to do some work on yourself and release some shit from the past. Pen and paper, a book, how to journal to release trauma. What you want to do is step one, get pen and paper. Step two, you want to open the book and you want to take the pen and you're going to set yourself a timer for 20 minutes and you're going to start writing. And you're not going to stop writing until that timer goes off. So for 20 minutes non-stop, you're going to start writing and you don't stop. However much comes out, comes out. You don't stop writing. If you have no words to write, you're just going to keep making crinkles, draw small pictures. As long as the pen is moving for 20 minutes, we're good. What you want to do with this is you want to flush your thoughts. You want to flush your feelings. You want to flush the sensations and give this thing inside of you that has been nagging and that's been building up and it just feels uncomfortable. You want to give it a voice. You want to have some form of creative channel to let all of this stuff out that has been stuck. So while you're writing, you want to emphasize on what you feel. You want to start writing. Maybe even for the first week, for the first 7 days, you only want to write with no clear objective. You don't particularly want to keep this at this point in time. You don't want to work with it at this point in time. All you want to do for 7 days is to write every day for 20 minutes. Get it out of you, get it onto the paper. You can burn it afterwards if you want. I wrote some stuff down. If people read what I wrote, they would have probably called the police. So make sure that no one has access to whatever comes out of your hand when you start writing and you don't stop, and allow it to come up. So what can happen is that during the writing process that you might encounter feelings that you didn't know that you have, or you might not even be able to feel yourself. This would be the emphasis on the second week when you do this. How do I feel? Bringing during the writing process the intention back to how do I feel? For me, I think it took a month. It took a month of consistent writing and thinking this stuff is bullshit, it doesn't work. 1 month of writing until finally that one evening I went, put the timer on 20 minutes, I started writing, and about halfway at the actually more like a 17-minute mark, I wrote down, I can't feel anything. And that particular moment, after 1 month of again and again just letting it all out, I realized that there was an element of depression in my life that I was not able to feel, and that the realization kicked in that I was not able to feel. And I couldn't even cry about it. I couldn't even be sad about it. If you've ever experienced depression, you might understand that that stuff is a bit evasive. There's a little bit of like a layer in front of everything, like a fog. Certain feelings are very difficult to track down, especially if you don't have the vocabulary to name these feelings, and if you're not yet comfortable walking in this realm of feeling. So once you got the pen and paper, you want to write for 7 days for 20 minutes each day. No objective. The next week, you want to distill how do I feel. For 7 days again, you're going to keep bringing it back to how am I feeling? How am I feeling? You write all the thoughts, all the sensations. Oh, I got shoulder pain. This sucks. Why am I doing this? This is stupid. Why did my mom do and say this to me in the past? You want to get all of these things onto the paper. If these two things, just writing freely and writing and with the intention to capture how do I feel, come easily and naturally, or you have done this before, you can proceed to the next step, which would be something that I use to refine this whole process of interoception while writing and contemplation of what am I actually writing right there. And that is, you want to create some form of filter to sift through the data that you're actually allowing to come out of you. So let's say you have written your 20 minutes and you have a clear narrative inside of this writing that say, oh, I'm not good enough. And it's because of this memory when I was a kid and I was there on the soccer field and someone told me I'm not good enough, I'm not meant to be playing. So suddenly I'm sitting here like in my 20s, mid 20s, and I got this memory pop back and this feeling of inadequacy pop back. And I channeled it through pen and paper. And I have access to this feeling now. What I want to do is after the 20-minute writing, I want to go over the writing again. This is a little bit like psychotherapy for poor people because you don't have particularly like a professional or therapist with you that can help you sift through the data. So you're going to do it yourself. You're going to read what you wrote and you're going to circle and highlight and mark particularly the negative feelings and the negative beliefs that are associated with these feelings and thoughts. Let's say, I'm not good enough, I feel inadequate, and it's because of this and that. Oh, you have some form of cluster of information about yourself and your own story there, and you want to highlight that thing, especially if it didn't feel like it resolved anything while you were writing it and you just revisited this horrible experience and you're like, fuck, what now? You want to highlight this thing. Once you've highlighted this thing, the next day you want to take this highlighted statement. Let's say it's a belief like, I'm not good enough, I'm weak, I'm poor, I'm inadequate, I will never find the dream partner. You want to highlight that statement. You want to take that statement and you want to use this statement as the prompt for the next 20 minutes. So you will have again your 20 minutes writing, and it's not going to be 10 minutes. Make it 20 minutes of nonstop writing, and you're going to use that particular phrase as the prompt to initiate and jump back into this stream of thought and feeling that you might have just scratched. Let's say you have scratched it during the 20-minute process. This time you're going to use it as the prompt, and this time you're going to refine and dive deeper into that belief that you have uncovered in your last session. So this will give you an opportunity to keep refining and resolving and create more clarity. I wrote down the word in my notes, cognition. If you look it up in a dictionary, cognition can be understood as this whole process of gathering knowledge through sensation, thought, and feeling. And what we're doing here is we recognize ourselves and our own story. It's an element of remembering inside of this. It's an element of self-revelation inside of this, where because you allow yourself to feel and revisit these things, and you have a creative channel to let these things out, and you've got the awareness and the safety to do this in the moment, this will give you an opportunity to touch these things and potentially release and resolve these things. What's important is that we don't get hooked up and caught in this idea of, I'm going to have this big release and this big realization. Don't even go in that direction of thinking that you're aiming for big revelations and big realizations and big releases. What you want to be focusing on is get those 20 minutes a day onto the piece of paper and look what you're doing, what you're writing, how you're thinking, how you're feeling, how you're sensing. This will give you a baseline of understanding who you actually are. You're not looking to change it. You're not looking to heal everything that is fucked with you. All that you're trying to do is just see yourself. Pay some attention and pay some respect to who you are as a human. That in itself can be a very, very, very potent form of self therapy and can be very nourishing for the nervous system and create safety. I can see who I am. I can see who I have been and how I have been thinking this whole time. Recognize yourself through this practice of writing 20 minutes a day. Once you've gotten accustomed to writing your thoughts and feelings onto paper for 20 minutes a day, and you've gotten a little bit more sharp in your observation of what you're writing, being able to distinguish sensations, thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, negative beliefs about yourself and about life. Another huge thing that you can do is you gather the negative beliefs that you've been writing down, let's say just from one 20-minute chunk or from multiple chunks. You go in there, you circle out all of the negative beliefs that you have about life, about relationship, about yourself, about money, about your looks, about your strength, whatever it is that you're struggling with in life. You circle that negative belief that you have written down in one of these journaling sessions, you gather them, You collect them on one page, and then you're gonna invert every single one of them and write the inverted belief on the page next to it, so that you will at the end have an entire page collection of negative beliefs about you and your life, and then you're going to have the inverted positive beliefs right next to it. Once you have that list of positive beliefs, let's say, I'm not good enough, I am weak, and I am poor, you invert it in I am good enough, I am strong, and I am abundant. And you have that list of positive beliefs from inverted from your text and from your writing. This list you're going to put next to your pillow. And when you wake up in the morning, the list is what you grab first, not your smartphone, nothing else. You grab that list and you read all of these positive affirmations. Try and feel into every single one of these. Can these be accepted as truth? Or is there just way too much gunked up stuff in front to be able to even feel these positive belief sets? So, that would be the cleansing part. After you have sifted all of that thought material, you want to have that positive beliefs list. One additional point, one additional last step that I would highly, highly, highly recommend everyone that wants to try this to do is, if you've done the 20-minute practice of diving into the depths of your subconscious by channeling all of this stuff on paper that is so wrong and so bad about your life, and you want to fix these things, after you've done this, this is the last key tip that I have for you in this video. Drop it for 5 minutes. Pretend like you are not traumatized, you are not broken, there is nothing wrong with you. And just for 5 minutes, you can again put yourself the timer for 5 minutes and just pretend and imagine, what would it be like right now if there was actually nothing wrong with me, and if I wouldn't even have to do all of this pen and paper stuff to fix myself or to release the trauma or to heal myself. What would it be like? Just for 5 minutes, play with the idea that nothing is wrong with you. And pick up that basketball or soccer ball and start playing. Do something that you actually want to do with your life. And I'm being serious about this. This might be the most crucial point of the video, actually. All of this is nice and good to create some clarity around who you are, who you've been, how long you have walked, and what you're feeling, and all of these things. But I think what's even more important is to just have a break from the inner work as well, if it's draining and if it's too much. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this was helpful for you. Pen and paper, you can get this for $5 or less, and you're gonna get lots done. Thanks for watching.